3M had an excellent day today. The stock was up 22% after the company announced earnings. 3M is a company that I've followed for many years. I've known of 3M ever since I was in college. That's 30 years ago. And I've always respected the company. They're a company that has continued to innovate and really put good ideas to work for either industrial accounts or consumers. The company started in the mining business a long time ago, but realized that they should really grow into businesses that were probably more profitable and better for their company, for their employees, and really for the economy. Overall, I'm a fan of 3M. They fell on hard times recently where they did manufacture some earplugs that ended up causing hearing loss to some servicemen and women. And that's really unfortunate. I don't think the company meant to do that, obviously, but they did have to pay a big settlement. That's behind them. And I'm glad to see that they are going to proceed forward with their business. They paid off the plaintiffs, and hopefully all the plaintiffs are going to be okay. But now that the business is going ahead beyond those problems they had, the business I thought was going to be a really good rebound business. And I'm glad that I started investing in them in 2023. Overall, the return's been really good. And I wanted to analyze the company now that they've announced their earnings and see if I want to invest more money into 3M, if I should just hold my shares or if I should sell my shares. Did I already get enough return and I could sell the shares and make a good profit? I'll let you know that at the end of the video. Now let's get into the fundamentals of 3M and go through the valuation of the company first. 3M has a market cap of $70 billion. It really went up today. It went up really 23%. So it was a very good day. And revenue is $32 billion in revenue. They have a PE ratio that forward PE of 17, which is fairly reasonable if you consider a lot of PEs on the S&P are in the mid 20s. It pays a nice dividend, and analysts had a buy rating. And now with the stock really going up, it would be sold at a premium based on the calculations they had before their earnings. The company overall, again, it's a rebound story. They had trouble in the past. Their revenue isn't going to look great, but overall, the most recent quarter, and I'll look at their financials next, it shows that their revenue did grow just a slight bit. More importantly, their profitability really went up. Taking a look at their earnings for the second quarter of the year, their sales were relatively flat. They had just slight growth, 1.2% year over year if you look at the most recent quarter. But they did surprise and they had better earnings per share than were expected. And I think that's what the stock market got really excited about. It really does help on a day when they announced their earnings. There also was positive economic news, which was that inflation is being tamed. Inflation, the producer price index came in at 2.5, and that surprised in a favorable way. So that combined with the good earnings really helped 3M have a great day. Overall cash flow is improving, which is excellent. That's very good to see. It'd be great to see 3M return to the glory days that they once had, where they really produce high free cash flows. Looking at their balance sheet, it looks good. I'll look at the balance sheet more closely. They're in an industrial business, automotive, consumer products. For the guidance, I want to get to the guidance. They raised their guidance. They raised their guidance on the profitability that they're going to have. They're going to be more profitable than originally stated, and they're going to have better earnings per share than originally stated. So overall, it was a positive earnings. And overall, I think I'm not the only one that thinks the 3M brand is really positive. I'm sure there's other investors who think highly of the company and really expected the company to rebound like myself. I think it's becoming reality now with these types of numbers. So where do I rank 3M in the overall desirability of this business? What's really important for me is to know what type of business am I buying? Am I buying a business that has really good competitive barriers and can keep competitors out of their market? Pretty much operate close to a monopoly. Companies like Google Search, Microsoft Software, and such. And those companies would be in the green. Those are great businesses that just have really strong competitive barriers against competition. The worst companies, they have no barriers. Anybody can enter their market, compete against them, drive down prices, be overly competitive, and nobody makes any money. 3M, I think at one time was clearly in the green in their heyday. I would say that not too long ago, they were in the gray, where they were just trying to figure out how they were going to get out of these lawsuits and get ahead of these things. Now they've done that. I think they're moving towards the green. They have a lot of products that are very well liked by the market, liked by their partners. They have a very good network of customers. They have a lot of patents, a lot of good stuff there. But I wouldn't put them completely in the green. I'm going to say that they're in the gray, and an investment in the gray for me, I have to get a very good discount. And based on the discount that I was getting a year ago from 3M, it was a good investment. So that's where I put 3M. They have a medium barrier of entry against competitors. I think it's a strong, moat, but it's not very wide. It's not like an Apple that has that device that everybody wants. So that's where they sit in my desirability quadrant. It's a good company, but it's not a great company. So what is 3M worth? If I look at their cash flows that I expect the company is going to produce, as well as the earnings per share that I expect the company is going to perform. Well, let's take a look at both. First, with cash flows, I put together my own forecast. The best forecast I could put out there is, they had a good year in 2023 when it comes to cash flow. I'm just going to go 70% of 2023, which gave me 3.5 billion. They're operating towards that number, and I think it's a good number to start a forecast of cash flows for this company. They're doing better now, so I raised the growth rate to 10% from my previous valuation. That gives me a forecast for the first 4 years represented here. And then terminal value will grow at 4%, all cash flows beyond year 4. Now, the discount rate is 8.5%, which is a reasonable discount rate for this company. When I discount all those cash flows to today's value, it's $85.8 billion of value if you look at those cash flows. I add the cash and take away debt to get to an equity value of $75.4 billion. The current market cap is $70 billion. So the company now is being priced pretty close to their stock price. So it's fairly priced. It's a slight discount, but it's pretty close. If we look at earnings per share, I'm using toward the higher end of the earnings per share that they represented, and I'm using a P of 18. They're not too far from that number. I'm going to grow those earnings per share by 6%. The economy keeps getting better. I think there's good times ahead for 3M. It gives me a per share value of $137. The current stock price is $127. So there's about an 8% discount available if I look at the earnings per share. Combined, when I blend the two, I get about an 8% discount on 3M. That's a small discount. Doesn't compel me to buy a ton of stock from this point. And remember, I have 3M in the gray. It's a medium desirable company. It's not like a Google or an Apple that is very desirable. So if I'm getting a small discount on a company like that, I'd probably take it. But a company in the gray, I have to know that I've got a better discount. It's still a rebound story. The rebound is looking really good, but it's not done. So I'm going to have to really think long and hard about buying more shares at this discount rate. Looking at where the 3M stock has traded over the last 5 years, boy, it's been a real roller coaster for the company. I don't really consider COVID anybody's fault. It just happened, and a lot of companies' stocks went down. 3M stock really rose out of COVID, and it went up 65%. But then came the big drop from the high point to the low point. Boy, nobody wanted this stock. It went down 58%. And really buying in 2023 may have been a good idea. In fact, it's proven to be a good idea because the stock's up 75%. So it really provided one of the premium companies in the history of the United States, I would say, especially over the last 100 years, an opportunity to buy that company that put out so many great products and, in my eyes, has a great brand, has a lot of smart people working there at a discount. And I'm really glad that I invested in the company when the investing was good. So what should I do with my 3M stock? Well, I'm glad that I bought the shares in 2023, and then I dollar cost average my investments. I'm not smart enough to pick the very low point in a stock. I just know when a stock is discounted, and I tend to buy when those prices are discounted. Overall, I'm sitting on a 49% gain on this stock in less than 1 year, so that's been great. And I'm going to hold my shares. If the stock rises anymore, I may consider selling. There's nothing wrong with taking a solid gain and just banking that money. Because you never know that maybe in a year or two, this stock can really go down. I could see myself holding this stock for a long time. It's just I have to be smart with these gains. I like taking gains at times, banking them, and then seeing what else is out there to take advantage of. Really doing it all over again, finding the next 3M that is unappreciated, undervalued, buying it at the right time, and then making a nice gain. So that's my video on 3M. I know that I got one comment on the community page asking for 3M, and this is for you, for that viewer that wanted it. I hope that you invested a lot of money and you had a very good return. And just one last reminder, I'm an individual investor. I'm not providing any financial advice, and I'm not recommending you buy, hold, or sell 3M stock. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I appreciate you watching.